Hi and welcome to another KWM tasting note with me, Andrew. Today we're trying Peter Lehmann's Margaret Semillon from the Barossa Valley 2012, part of their Masters series. So Barossa, first of all, South Australia, which is up here, just sort of north of Adelaide. This particular fruit comes from vines planted in the 1930s in the Light Pass district. And this is basically what Peter Lehmann sees as the best expression of the grape in the Barossa within their Masters series. Now, the name Margaret Semillon is named after Peter Lehmann's wife, Margaret. Peter Lehmann is an absolute legend in the Barossan wine culture. He set up his own winery in the late 70s, and in the early 80s the wine growers in the Barossa were having a really tough time selling their grapes, because there was really no major light wine market at that time. It was still very much in sort of the fortified market, so that all this lovely wine, old vine grapes, and was at risk of sort of being pulled up. But Peter Lehmann stepped in and offered them a compromise that he would buy the grapes off them, make the wine, but he would pay them once he sold the wine, and that saved a lot of really old historic vineyards in the Barossa, and they're forever grateful for that even today. So Peter Lehmann sold the business in sort of the early 2000s, and it now belongs to Casella family as well. But Margaret was his wife, and this is where the wine is named after. Now, Semillon as a variety, it's probably not the most popular variety in the world, but what it does do, it ages really, really well. It's absolute great capacity to age, and this is a great example of it. Now, this particular wine, they do bottle age this at the cellars prior to release to give it a bit of sort of development before it hits the market. So this is now 10-11 years old, so it is quite developed at this point, but it's still a long life ahead of it, and they hold it for about 5 or 6 years before they would release it. So this one here as well, in the past they used to use oak on this particular wine. They don't do that anymore. It's just basically the varietal stainless steel ferments, spends 3 weeks or so in tank, and then it's bottled, and that's it. So whatever you get in terms of the bottle is developmental, and it gives you a great idea of what an older Semillon does, or what it can develop like. So you think about great regions for Semillon, and say Hunter Valley would be probably the foremost in Australia, but Peter Lehmann's market is right up there with it as well. So when you pour this out in the glass, it's got a bit of color, all right. It's got that sort of pale gold almost. It's got these like green flecks as well, so it does show you as a little bit, it has like a youthful character to the color, even though it is 11 years old at this point. A wonderful nose to it, really, really complex. It's got, when I first smelled this, it sort of confused this for a little bit like an old Riesling. It's got that sort of slight limey character, that citrus character, and then you get this sort of waxy element to it, which comes through quite predominantly. It almost, if you could almost say there's like a slight toastiness to this, but there is no toast because there's no barrels, but it almost gives you that sense of it as well. It's the sort of wine where the longer you sit over it and smell it, the more things come out of the actual glass. It really is quite complex. You think that it's going to slightly coat your palate on first entry, but it's really quite taut, really quite steely acidity in there as well. It's got that sort of slightly waxy character on the palate. Lovely citrus fruit coming through as well, but it's an extremely affordable version of an old Semillon, if without having to buy it and sit on it yourself. So this is the beauty of these wines from the likes of Peter Lehmann, and they do it with their Wigan Riesling as well, where they will release them after time in bottle, so it gives the consumer the opportunity to taste what an older wine looks like, as opposed to trying to buy it and then sell it yourself, because not many people have the money or the patience for that nowadays. So cracking glass of wine. It's one of it's my personal wine of the month in the staff picks in store here at this point in time, and I think just for complexity, interest, intrigue, it offers a really good glass of wine. So hopefully you'll come and try it, or buy it online and taste it at home and enjoy it just the same. Until next time, cheers.